What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of the Dodgers Nation post-game show live from Dodger Stadium. As always, from the Stadium Live, I'm joined by a guy that I'm lucky to call my friend, the great Michael Duarte from NBC LA, and a much different game tonight than we've seen for a long time. Is that bullpen starting pitching? The offense gave you 7 hits, 5 runs. Felt like one of the most complete wins of the year. Mookie Betts goes 2 for 4, drives in 3 runs. Really made the defensive play of the game, starting 2 double plays in this one. Gets the line drive after Kershaw get up 4 hits there in that second inning. Great to see Kershaw outduel Max Scherzer. There's no way the Dodgers are going to lose on Kobe Bryant Bobblehead Night.
I mean, I might argue with you that Alex Freeland had the best defensive play of the night with that little Willie Mays style basket catch running out to second to help Kershaw get another exam. But is it me, Doug, or does it feel like Clayton Kershaw just kind of quiet? He's not dominant. He's not Kershaw 2014 MVP Kershaw, but he's going out there night after night, kind of getting through the summer doldrums here, pitching well. I think he has like a 2.66 ERA in every start he's had except his first start back. So like the last 13 starts, and he's quietly putting together a really good season. He gets out of traffic, and that's what you expect from a veteran. And he got it with the defense tonight. And the last thing I'll say before the Kobe Bryant Bobblehead Night, the Toronto Blue Jays came in arguably hotter than any team in baseball. Definitely offensive explosion at Coors Field. 45 runs, 63 hits in their last 3 games. They come in here and they only score 1 run. Yeah, they had 9 hits, but only 1 run against the Dodgers tonight. That's what you call cooling off. That's the Dodgers played the role of the cooler, a William H. Macy role in a good film if you guys haven't seen it. But also the cool thing about it was the entire Bryant family. Vanessa Bryant showed up with an entourage tonight, right? Obviously her 3 daughters, Rob Pelinka, the Lakers, her nephew, aunties, tias, tios, everybody came. They had 2 full rows down here behind home plate. They stayed for the whole game. We saw them coming out of the elevator when we went down after the game. So that was also cool that there was kind of a day dedicated to Kobe, the fans breaking out in multiple Kobe chants throughout the game. We get to see his bobblehead holding the bat from that 2019 Lakers media day, only they changed his shoes so the new Kobe Proto 6s. So I don't know. I thought it was a great night all around. But even better, Walker Buehler did us a favor. He did what he does. He beats the Padres, and Dodgers gain a game in the standings, now 3 up in the West.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway today is the Dodgers, after tonight's win, you improved to 67-49. You pick up a game on the Padres because Walker Buehler wearing his Dodgers uniform under his Red Sox uniform tonight down in San Diego. Yeah, you mentioned the Kobe Bryant festivities. It was awesome. I mean, I think the relationship between this city, that player, and that player's relationship with his team is extremely unique. Dave told me before the game that he had a huge impact in all of them and that his legacy is alive and well. And that's just kind of how it feels. I mean, I think when, of course, a tragedy happened, it felt like, how long will this be a part of the culture? And it really is just feels like it's gonna be a part of this culture forever. And yeah, it's funny you mentioned that going down the elevator, because wrapping it up, it was like Vanessa Bryant was like, there was just like this glow around her. We actually made eye contact and I was thought about saying something. I always say something, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I was gonna be like, Vanessa have to have it. You know, exactly. I'm very glad I didn't say anything, but great to see the kids, great to see the family. And I just think it's such a cool relationship that they have with this Lakers organization. But getting back to what you said about Clayton Kershaw, the 2.66 ERA in 13 starts after that rocky first start he had against the Angels. What's so incredible about it is that we know that there's been diminished velocity for years now, and he's hitting 89, 90 on the gun. And even that second inning, he gives up 4 hits. And then there was the hit that was a ball on a play that Freddie Freeman will tell you that he probably should have made. And
for the only run of the game, really. Yeah.
Only run of the game. And it looked like
he should have made that play.
He should have made that play.
It had some weird backspin to it. You could hear it from the press box, the noise it made when it came off the bat. But, like, I don't know. I feel like Freddie, if he had maybe had a Red Bull right before, maybe he'll make that play. It just seemed like a little bit lackadaisical effort, a little bit more of an effort, maybe a slide or something. And he makes that catch easy, and the run never scores. And we would have seen 6 shutout innings from Clayton tonight.
And that's what I'm getting at, is that despite the diminished velocity, despite this stuff not always being great, I mean, you look at that inning, the only run they score off that Barger single there, that's a curveball he left a little up. He gives up 4 hits during that inning, but if you look at just his body of work today, it doesn't really just make sense that he's still able to be that guy where he's at. I mean, this guy could go out there and try to give up runs, try to, I don't know, serve a BP, and he'd still be a sub-4, sub-3 ERA guy. So, look, it's just a testament that the guy's a true pitcher. He's a true craftsman. He's a master at his craft. And I did think there was a pretty interesting little nugget when he was talking about Max Scherzer after the game and what he said that, oh, if this is our last year, Scherzer 41, he's 37. I think the more he does start, the better he performs. I think he's at peace with, hey, I can still do it at this level. If we have a good October and things end the way we hope it does, it feels like he's going to call it a career.
Yeah, I'll say two things to that. First, I can tell you, even though it doesn't seem like he should be doing this, I can tell you exactly why he's doing it, because Max Scherzer is also doing it opposite of him. People told me Dodgers players coming out of the batter's box, heading back to the dugout after striking out against Max Scherzer or getting out. Now, that fastball had some zip, and he's still throwing it like 96 miles per hour. In fact, after the game, Kershaw said, you know, do you know how Max is still throwing that high velocity like he was doing 10, 15 years ago? It's really impressive, and let me know. But you also got Justin Verlander, and this is kind of the topic, right? Verlander, Scherzer, Kershaw, these three all have over 3,000 strikeouts. They're still pitching in the game today. They are all going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. They all have championships. They will all be tied to each other as this kind of era of pitching, maybe a renewed golden era of pitching in the early 2000s. They will be forever linked, and they're all still doing it at this age, which just goes to show you when you are a Hall of Fame pitcher of that caliber, pitchers know how to pitch. It's not dominant. It's not Tariq Skubal. It's not Paul Skeens. You're not recording 14 strikeouts out there. You're lucky to get 4 or 5 strikeouts from these guys any given day on a start. And they're going to give up a lot of hits, and they're going to have traffic on the bases, but they know how to get out of jams. They know how to get inside the batter's head and throw something that they don't expect, paint corners, create like a sequence in an at-bat, right? That's going to throw a hitter off, or they think they expect a certain pitch, and Kershaw's coming with something else. He still knows how to do that. So does Scherzer, so does Verlander. So when you say he shouldn't be, I look at these guys and I say that's why they're doing it, because the greats were able to do it a long time. There's this clip going around of when Kershaw and Scherzer, first met, right? What was it, 2006, I believe? I think it was like Scherzer's first start or something, or second start of his career. But what's interesting about that video, if you guys have seen it circulating on social media, and the Blue Jays just posted about it before the game, so you can check it out from the Blue Jays social media, was that game was supposed to be Randy Johnson on the Diamondbacks versus Greg Maddux on the Dodgers, and they were in their 40s. And they were also doing it at that age and still doing it. Obviously, they didn't get to see that start, but that just shows you the greats can do it for long periods of time, even prior to this generation.
Yeah, the baseball gods were certainly smiling that day. And I just think of all the Dodgers fans and baseball fans that showed up to the park that day in disappointment, hoping to see Greg Maddux versus Randy Johnson. But now you have a great story to tell for the rest of your life that you saw Scherzer versus Kersh. And he did say after the game that, hey, I need to do a better job getting left-handed hitters out. Barger got that single off him, gave up a couple hits to Varsho. But, I mean, just both of them pitched well. Let's just point that out right now. Scherzer, he gave 2 runs in 6 innings of work on 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. And then Clayton Kershaw, yeah, you see it right there. They did the little jersey swap, kind of felt very like football-ish. But Kersh, 1 run on 7 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 1 walk. And I think it was the efficiency that really stands out with his outing. 74 pitches. And it's just, look, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And somehow, some way, Clayton Kershaw is effective. He's helping this team win games. And in a rotation that features young all-star pitchers in their prime, from Yamamoto at the youngest to guys like Snell and Glasnow and Shohei Ohtani, Kersh still kind of stands out for what he's doing at his age.
Yeah, Kersh is a 2-time World Series champion. Should have been a 3-time World Series champion, if you ask me. But he didn't switch his signs like he probably should have in 2017. But we're not going to forget about the past here. We're going to forget about it. But to your point, you were part of it with me when right before the playoffs started. It was like a team workout down here. Clayton Kershaw, this was last year before the playoff run. Clayton Kershaw told us, I'm not going to be able to go. I'm not going to be able to come back. It was a question mark. We weren't sure. He would not be able to return for the playoffs. It was a blow to this team. And you saw him a little intoxicated on stage during the parade, screaming
Dodger for life.
Dodger for life, and I didn't even do anything to win
Yeah.
this one. But he was
His presence was felt.
yeah, he's part of the cheer squad. I'm sure he can help hitters with tells. I'm sure he can help watch the game and get in coaches' ears and get in players' ears to help them along the way. But the point is, this time he's actually a part of it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he made a few starts last year before the toe started bothering him, but right now he's got 14 starts on the year. He's pitching well. He was an all-star. He got to appear in the all-star game. Clayton Kershaw, to your point, as far as we know, is healthy. Nothing nagging him. Got 2 surgeries in the offseason to bounce back from. Seems to be on the other side of those things and the best version we've seen of Kershaw in a long time as far as not dealing with nagging injuries and ailments that could keep him out. So far, so good in that path. And yes, if they could somehow make a run in October, be the first repeat champion since the Yankees in the late 90s, early 2000s, and he rides it off from the sunset with 3 rings, and whether or not he's in the playoff rotation or coming out of the bullpen or maybe not in the roster for the first round, but on it in the second round or something like that. If he's contributing, I could see him riding off in the sunset if that's how it ends. But he's going to be allowed to pitch until he decides his career's up, which is
we were talking about this actually up in the press box about the quote from Moneyball is that everyone is told at some point that they have to stop playing this child's game. And sometimes it's at 18, sometimes at 40, but eventually that time's come. Clayton Kershaw is at the level of his career where he's going to ultimately decide when his career is over, because Andrew Friedman has always said, he's reiterated it multiple times, that the door is always going to be open for Kersh. But I think the couple interesting storylines to look at for Kersh down the stretch are, if he continues to pitch effectively, where you're not getting chased, you're going out there putting up starts where 6 innings, 5 innings efficiency and things like that. Well, I think the big thing for Kersh is he's already said that it's going to be cutthroat. Got a special guest here, Maria. It's going to be cutthroat to make that postseason rotation, just be a part of it. Is kind of where does he stand with that? Where does he stand with that? Is that, do you put him in a situation where he's late in a postseason series? Do you put him in a situation where you have him as almost a backup to start a game later? Do you have him in a piggyback role like him and Emmet Sheehan, things like that? Him and Shohei, who knows? I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting because, too, if you get late into the postseason and you're clinching a game, the last 2 World Series have been closed out by a starting pitcher. Most notably last year for Dodgers fans, and Walker Buehler did that in Yankee Stadium. Is it Clayton Kershaw? I think it's going to be Shohei, just because Shohei, I think, will pitch early in a series, and that could be that. But the point I'm trying to make is that this is all setting up for him to really end his career in the best way possible if this team does what so many expect them to do. Yeah,
I think, look, you and I talked about this as well. I think if you're in a wild card match, hopefully you're not, but if you're in a NLDS best of 5, I think Kershaw's probably on your taxi squad. But if you can get out of that best of 5 and now you're in a best of 7 CS or a World Series, you need a guy who can be a long man. And this is just provided everyone in the starting rotation stays healthy. And we're assuming it's some combination of Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Shohei Ohtani, Glasnow is your kind of 4 horses.
46 games to the postseason.
Right. And I think if everything lines up right and they're pitching to their best of their abilities, that is probably your 4 in a best of 7 series. But you need a guy like Kershaw who can come in. And history has shown Andrew Friedman has liked a veteran former starter. You can go to Brandon McCarthy in 17. Alex Wood in 2018 out of the pen, and I bring him up because that's what started this conversation. 34 years old, Alex Wood announced his retirement today. You actually asked Kershaw about it after the game. I'm close with Woody. That's a guy who I know could still help a team right now, whether it's starting or out of the pen, especially some of these teams that are so depleted. But his phone never rang. He stayed in shape up until August, and then phone didn't ring. And so he's like, okay, I guess I'm out of here. It's kind of like what's going on with Joe Kelly, you know? Maybe you only want to go through it and come back for a certain situation. And if it doesn't happen, then you just, ride off into the sunset forcibly. But with Kershaw, he's going to get to pick. But it'll be interesting to see if Kershaw's healthy and pitching like this, what they do decide to do with him in a playoff series. I don't think he starts, especially a short series. But I think maybe, the further they would go, the deeper they'd go, he'd be on the roster later, but probably on the taxi squad to start.
Yeah, and the thing about this is hopefully they're having this conversation, and hopefully guys are staying healthy. But on paper, there's no way you could argue that Kersh should be starting in postseason games over 4 starters ahead of him in Yamamoto, in Glasnow, in Snell, in Shohei Ohtani. So if those series go like the Dodgers hope and they're shorter series, you could see him like an NLCS start, right? If the situation presents itself. We have followed this team. We've covered this team. We've been fans of this team for long enough to know that all of this can change in the matter of one pitch. So we'll find every piece of wood in your house and knock on it and hope for the best. But we're going to get to Clayton Kershaw. We got some exclusive sound from the Dodgers clubhouse. Then when we come back, is Mookie Betts all the way back? How all the way back is Mookie Betts? We're also going to talk the 9 for 9 challenge?
999, yeah.
999 challenge. I'll tell you about a little interesting conversation between me and the great Michael Duarte. So welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show, guys. #1 Dodgers post-game show on YouTube. If you have not yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and hit that like button. Your Dodgers get a complete win, 5-1 over the Blue Jays. They pick up a game on the San Diego Padres. But let's hear from Clayton Kershaw from the Dodgers clubhouse.
An exciting matchup with you and Max Scherzer. How much were you thinking about that just coming into this game, just how historic this one really kind of was?
I mean, obviously pitching against Scherzer, you know you're going to have a battle on your hands. He threw the ball really well tonight. The ball's coming out really well. The guys are saying his fastball still has a lot of jump to it. So, you know, it's not lost on me. I think it's really cool that, you know, Scherzer was the guy right before me to get to 3,000. And, you know, I got to play with him, got to compete against him basically our whole careers. I think it is really cool that we got to do this in our first year. And I don't know if it's our last year, but towards the end for sure. So it's been a fun ride to get to watch him and Verlander and to get to compete against him tonight was a lot of fun. And he's still doing it. I think he's way older than me. He's like 41, so he's way older.
It's got you by a few years for sure. But just how you were able to kind of get through this outing. What was the focus for you and how you were able to get through there like, relatively, quite efficiently, actually?
Yeah, they swing the best well. Not a lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks. You know, they put the ball in play. A lot of singles tonight. Honestly, if I could get lefties out, I would have been in a much better spot. You know, the big swings tonight from the lefties. So, and then honestly, Mookie making that double play in the second kind of really got me going. You know, the second inning could have gotten out of hand there. So, for Mook to make that play, get me out of that, you know, keep my pitch count down, able to get through 6, and then obviously hitting the homer too is a big night for Mook, which was awesome to see.
It's obviously really fraternity as it is, but for you, Scherzer, Verlander, does it feel like you guys have been kind of attached for a while for the last couple of decades?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think as we've gotten older, you know, you start to see, you know, other people, you know, maybe retire that we played against a lot. And, you know, Verlander is before Scherzer and I both, you know, so he's been doing it a lot longer, both of us. So, but at the end of the day, it's fun to get to compete against guys like that and have a lot of respect for both those guys. And it's always fun to see, you know, what they're doing across the league, getting to see how they're competing, how they're doing. And, you know, fun to come out on top tonight for sure.
Is it part of a matchup? Is it part of a matchup like that? You guys are like both pitching for first place teams, like kind of a stretch run of the season here where there's still a lot of importance into obviously how you guys are pitching as well.
Yeah, it's always fun to pitch for something. You know, I mean, I've been super spoiled here that, you know, every year it's just what you do. You know, you're going to go to the postseason or be close to it, and you know, I've done that every year. You know, other than a couple, my whole career. So it's always fun to get to do that, and I know Scherzer's been that way too a lot of times. So I think that's both. That's what makes us keep, or at least what makes me keep going. I'm sure Scherzer's the same way. That you know, getting to, you know, be a part of October is really special, and hopefully we can be a part of that.
Mookie, the guy who kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve, did you see a relief or weight coming off him the last couple of days?
I don't know. I do think it's been awesome to see him get some knocks. You know, I think, you know, for, you know, even when he's lining out and different things like that, you see the progress. And I think everybody in this clubhouse sees how hard, you know, Mook's working. You know, he's in the cage all the time. Obviously, the ground balls at shortstop has never stopped. You know, he continues to do that. So we all have Mook's back. You know, we know he's working hard. And tonight, to have that big swing for us, and, you know, he gets going, this lineup will get scary really fast.
2.66 ERA in your last 13 starts. Just how pleased are you with your stuff and just where you're at this stage of the season?
Yeah, I think it's a start-by-start basis right now. I think there's always something that I can do better. Tonight was I got to figure out how to get lefties out. That's just 4 for 4 tonight against me, so I got to figure that out. But overall, able to make some big pitches, get some big double plays, and tonight was a great night.
And Alex Wood, he announced his retirement. Just any thoughts on that and just kind of what he meant to you as a teammate?
Wow, he did. Congrats. Woody, great career, man, and Woody's a great teammate, good friend, and he pitched well for us in some big games. In the 2017 postseason, he pitched really well for us. So always be thankful to have Woody as a teammate, and even in 2020, he helped us out a lot too. So congrats on the retirement, Woody.
Just quickly, it looked like after you were done with your outing, when you were up on the top step, were you watching Max's, just his outing on the bottom of the sixth there?
I always stay for the bottom half of the inning, just to kind of watch. And he's Scherzer's throwing the ball great. I think he was throwing like 96 tonight, and it doesn't look like he's aged at all. So good for him. Let me know how he does it.
So it was Clayton Kershaw. The funniest thing about that was when he said that he's a lot older than him, 41 and 37. But of course, he's just having fun with it. But cool to see him do a little exchange, him and Scherzer, him going out there pitching well. But the biggest takeaway for me in this game, Mookie Betts doing it again. And he punished that slider from Max Scherzer, hit a 2-run shot, and his last 3 games you're seeing hard contact. It's not just the results, it's how he's getting those results, because the reason why Mookie struggled this season isn't he struck out, it's he hasn't been hitting the ball hard like he has throughout most of his career. He's starting to hit the ball again, and a story did come out about JD Martinez, and did JD Martinez help him and stuff? And Michael, my first thought on this is actually like we've seen this season, Max Muncy gets fixed with glasses.
Okay.
Freddie Freeman gets fixed with a meme from the Coldplay Andy Byron from Astronomer, and he makes an adjustment. He fixes his swing. Now Mookie Betts gets fixed from his old friend JD Martinez. What are the hitting coaches doing? I thought that's what they're for, to kind of help these players out. But what are your thoughts on Mookie Betts' night? Two for 4, drove in 3 runs, also started 2 double plays, one the second, one the fourth, that I think were massive. But how back is Betts?
Yeah, you took some of the words out of my mouth. I'll reformulate those words in a different sentence, which is maybe JD Martinez has a career as a hitting coach now. In his post, I'm not going to retire the guy. I know he's a free agent and still available if somebody wants a bat. But maybe he has a hitting coach in his future. And hey, if Robert Van Scoyoc and who's the other one? Not Brownie. Brownie left.
Aaron Bates.
Bates and Batesy. If they are not here next season, maybe you bring in JD Martinez, because it was reported by John Heyman that Fort Lauderdale resident JD Martinez decided to go out to Tampa Bay, that little AAA spring training stadium the Yankees play in George Steinbrenner Field, and give Mookie some pointers. Now, Mookie was very coy about the advice JD Martinez gave him after the game, and noted that I also went 0 for 16 after talking to him during that series, and obviously the game ahead at Cincinnati. But since returning and getting the love from the fans, the standing ovation, still building up his confidence, the let's go Mookie chants, he's now 6 for 10, Doug. So you asked, is he back? 3 games is not a big enough sample size for me, but 6 of 10 is much better than we've seen from Mookie in the past. And as you just heard from Kershaw in that clip, when Mookie's going, and he's right, and Freddie's going, and Shohei, I think, has like a 6 or 7 game hitting streak right now, this team is lethal. Like lethal. It's the offense that we thought they have, because there's no easy out anywhere. You got Teo, you got Will Smith, who is leading the National League in batting. You got Max Muncy, who's a home run hitting machine, works pitchers, sees pitches, can walk. We're going to take Michael Conforto 0 for 4, well below the Mendoza line, out of that equation. I'm not sure how you fix that. Maybe JD Martinez needs to come fix Michael Conforto.
What's the fix for Conforto, man? I mean, we need. You know what we need? We need
like 2 for 22.
There needs to be a trade deadline every month, because my man turned it on, and then the trade deadline passed, and he has looked like the Michael Conforto we've seen most of this year.
I think give Alex Call some run out there. That's what I think. I think give Alex Call some run out there, especially against righties, because that's kind of Conforto's role. And I don't think they see a lefty until Tyler Anderson in Anaheim next week. So I would let Alex Call Don't just bring him in as a defensive replacement in the 8th inning when he's never going to see the plate. Give him some at bats and see what he can do against righties. I know you're going to have him in there against lefties, but I want to see him against righties because right now, Michael Conforto, at least some of the time you would say he was making hard outs, hitting the ball hard and hitting in different places and just bad luck. But this is not what's going on right now with Michael Conforto. He had 2 strikeouts tonight, I believe, 2 for 21 in his last 21 plate appearances. That's a guy you can't fix. But we're talking about Mookie. I want to see, give me 10 games, right? We got 3 in, he's batting 600. Give me 10. So let's reconvene this time next week when the Padres might be in town or whatever. I think that's the next homestand after that. And we'll see if Mookie's back, kind of fully back or not.
So on a scale of 1 to 10 on the Betts is back meter, where are you at? I'll tell you where I'm at after you give me yours.
I'm at a 3, and I know it's low because the guy's batting 600. And look, we talked about plate discipline. We talked about not swinging at balls, working counts, working pitches. When he was not going right, it was when he was swinging at balls in the dirt. He looked lost at the plate. He wasn't working counts. Now he seems to be back. We also were talking about how when he was not going right, he was behind on a lot of pitches, flying out to right field meekly. That home run tonight, that was not a pitch, a 90 cookie right over the middle of the plate. He had to go down to get it, but that swing was fast. That twitch was kind of back that he has. The bat speed was back. Those are things that we've been missing from Mookie for most of the season. He had it on that home run. He pulls the ball deep in the left field pavilion. Those are good things I want to see. So I'm giving him a 3 based on 3 games of doing this. He'll reach a 10 when it's at 10 games for me.
That's fair because it's still such a small sample size relative to the entire season. But I think the most encouraging thing about it is, one, his demeanor. I think the confidence is there. His teammates, they want it so bad for him. I think you bring up that fantastic point about Clayton Kershaw, talking about the importance of Mookie Betts. Because at this point, we know what you're going to get from Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. And yes, Teo did strike out with the bases loaded, but he's someone that has come through more often than not. With Betts, it's, has he completely fallen off a cliff? We just need to get him up that cliff and get some production out of him. Because, look, one thing that really stood out to me from Betts in the postgame was he said, this season's over.
Correct. I was about to talk about that.
This season's over for him. And what he's talking about is he's at a 90 weighted runs created plus, hitting 239, where, if he goes crazy, sure, balance out a little bit. But he knows that, on paper, the numbers are not going to be pretty for his 2025 season. But that's not important at all for this team. They need Betts to finish the season strong, have a really good postseason. And what I liked about the home run he hit today was decisive first pitch against Max Scherzer. He hung a slider up and he didn't take a pitch. That just tells you he's out there competing. He's not overthinking it, trying to work in at bat. And also, it comes right after a Shohei Ohtani ground rule double. And when this team is at its best, look, Kobe Bryant Bobblehead Night, a little Kobe Shaq 1-2 punch in, that I think is a recipe for the top of this lineup.
Yeah. From a guy who knocked in 3 runs, hit the big go-ahead homer, I was surprised to see Mookie kind of down a little bit, right? He's like, this season's over for me, and I'm glad you brought that statement up because it kind of seemed down. People were like, hey, you still got 40 games left. We still got the playoffs left. Don't give up on the season. And to your point, that's not what he was saying. He was saying we're already almost over 120 games into the season, so the chance of me having an MVP-like season, right? This
that's what you took away from that, right?
Yeah, it was like a chance for me having a great offensive season. That's gone. I could go, I don't know, he probably could go, 100 for 100 and bring that back up and still have a great season. But we know that's not happening. Even if he catches fire the last 40 days, it's too late to be in that MVP conversation and to have the kind of offensive season, batting over 300 that maybe he wanted. But what I want to say more of that, because Mookie struggled a little bit at the end of last season, and it wasn't until we just talked about it on last show. Game 2 of the NLDS against the Padres. Yes, he gets robbed by that home run by Profar, but it was a good swing. He should have had a homer there. He hits one out in the next game in Game 3. Mookie gets right, whether it was from Brent Honeywell or not. He gets right. He ends up having a really good postseason. That's all that really matters is Mookie come October. So whatever happens now, as long as he's going in October and those 11 wins they need, I think that's all he's going to be remembered. His season will be remembered by. And to against Mookie's point, to the fans' point, it's not lost from that perspective. Maybe the statistical perspective from the season you wanted on the back of the baseball card, like we like to say. But if you can bat 600 in October and have the kind of October you had last season or, in 2018, then everything will be forgotten as far as his struggles for the first 5 months, and everything will be remembered as another champion, another ring on Mookie's already crowded finger.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I love that you point that out, the fact that a lot of dudes, a lot of stars like, Ronald Acuna Jr., or just different stars around the league that are really good players, but not on teams that have postseason aspirations, like a Ellie De La Cruz, guys like that, like on the fringes, but like you're not going to be a World Series contender. Mookie Betts should really think of this as, hey, I'm on one of those few teams where they won't remember the season I have. And even if they do, you can point to the weight loss or the illness at the beginning of the season. You can point to some of these things, injuries, playing shortstop, all these kind of things. So he really has a great opportunity to make the most of the season because of how good this team is and the position they're in. But even later in the game, in the 7th inning, after Freeland walked and then Shohei Ohtani gets on with the single, it was just putting the ball in play that led to another run. And I think that's the big thing. He just can't be a dead bat and weigh this offense down. I'll tell you another guy that's happy too is Dave Roberts, because he doesn't have to answer the question about moving Mookie Betts down the lineup. So sounds to me like we're not going to have the conversation. Every single day, it's like baseball is an interesting sport where it's like you lose the end of the world, you win, everything's right in the world. So it's like, let's give this a couple of weeks, see like the JD Martinez thing, the ovation thing, just this team having Max Muncy back, like all these little factors. Hopefully they come into play and Mookie Betts starts to thrive more consistently. But let's go to Mookie from the Dodgers clubhouse and hear what he had to say about his big night.
Some reports that came out just that you were working with JD when the team was in Tampa. How valuable has it been having someone like him in your corner, and maybe even having that time with him to kind of get things going again?
Super valuable. He definitely does help me from a baseball perspective, but he's just a really good friend of mine, and we just developed a relationship through grinding. When he first came to Boston, I remember just us both grinding in the cage, and we just became homeboys since then. And he just reached out to check in, and he's always helped me though.
What was his advice?
I went 0 for 16 when he was there, so I don't know that something necessarily clicked in, but mostly it was just some confidence, man. Just confidence in my abilities, and do my best to believe in myself.
How much more confident do you sort of feel at the plate at this point, especially the last couple of days, and sort of getting some hits on here?
Yeah, a lot more confident now. Like I said, we'll see how tomorrow goes. I enjoyed today, but I got to turn the page.
How did the home run swing feel? Looked good.
Yeah, looked good. Felt good. It was pitch out over the plate, so I had to put a good swing on it, and I did, and fortunately went over.
Does having kind of 3 consecutive games like this just remove some of the burden of the struggles that you'd been carrying the last couple weeks, or do you say?
No, not really. The season's over. My season's kind of over, so I'm gonna have to chalk that up for not a great season, but I can help the boys win every night and do something, get an RBI, make a play, do something. I kind of have to shift my focus there, and obviously everyone wants to have great seasons, but it's a lot easier when you just don't worry about the season. You just worry about game to game, and so I think I'll take this perspective for the rest of my career for sure.
So, like a lot of people are commenting down below, it's great to see Mookie smiling again. Someone says he's back to being Pookie Betts, and that's like the column when he's producing. And it's really interesting too. I saw this all over the X that tonight down in San Diego, Fernando Tatis Jr., their pride and joy over 5, and he was hearing some boos. Struggle with the bases loaded, Fernando Tatis Jr. And a lot of Dodgers fans are saying, hey, you guys down there booing your franchise star, we're up here giving our guy an ovation, and it's helping him out. It's clearly having an impact, and it's good to see.
Yeah, it's good to see. Pookie Betts or not, I kind of like that nickname, by the way. Things are going well. Guys are starting to heat up. I know people were talking about Teo, even though I thought Teo had a bad game tonight, bad night at the plate. He's been heating up lately, a couple home runs, so he's hitting the ball hard again. It seems like that groin isn't bothering him anymore. I don't know if you've noticed that. He even seems like he's cutting balls off he wasn't cutting off before in right field, so that might just be health and the groin being better. But I still think this team is not firing all cylinders. I still think they're making mental mistakes, and I can look at Andy Pages getting double up on that steal attempt and the short pop up by Alex Freeland. Now, I think a rookie like Freeland kind of needs to know the situation there. potentially if it's a ball and not close over the plate, he sees Pages has got a good jump and stealing a base. Maybe don't swing, let him have it. But either way, you got to know where the ball is. And that's a mental mistake by Pages getting double up there. He looked lost once he popped back up. And obviously that was a kind of a rally killer right there. So that's more mental mistakes that it seems like the Dodgers are making night in and night out. All that needs to be cleaned up come October because you can't do that.
Yeah, and this was, for the most part, a pretty clean game. We talked about the Freddie play that he should have made that led to a run earlier in this one. Alex Freeland made a really nice catch to really save things. And you talk about that Pages play, and it's becoming more frustrating because during that play, yes, the at-bat where Freeland's there, he fouls out in that situation. It's tough. But Pages, when you don't know where the ball is, you have got to find a base coach, and he's got to tell you to get back. And there's just got to be better communication there because now we have so many different examples of Andy Pages making blunders on the base paths. And if he's not hitting, which he was able to get some hits, and he's been honestly under the radar, pretty productive lately, but it's kind of one of those things where you remember that he's a younger player, and that does concern you in the postseason, and you just cannot have that. I mean, a game like this, you win 5-1, fine, but in the postseason, you do something like that, and you lose 3-1, and it's magnified.
He's not a guy that steals bases. He might have not even been prepared.
That's the thing too. I mean, like that's the thing too.
Like, wait, I got to do this again. I got to run back. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't ready for that, but no, it doesn't matter. Those are mental mistakes you can't make. And look, we talk a lot about Mookie. Mookie ends up being the hero, the MVP tonight. He saved Kershaw with that double play early in the first, and then early in the game. Saved him later with another double play, turning 2. But if Mookie doesn't do that, if Mookie doesn't knock in 3 runs, you are down 1-0 because Freddie couldn't get to a little corked ball that looked like it was hit with a pool cue. And then that run comes in and scores. And then you have a chance to get a guy on second and you get doubled up on a play, you know, on a short pop-up behind the catcher to Freeland. Like, those mistakes can't really happen. And sometimes they can be the difference. And sometimes with the Dodgers, as you saw with Freeland's error on Wednesday, in that game Ohtani started where he throws the ball into right field and Miguel Rojas can't get it. Sometimes those little mental mistakes and errors can be the difference that costs you a win and a loss. And so we need to see that stuff get cleaned up, and you don't want to see less of that. See more of that. The bullpen had a good night. You just want to kind of, the best thing I want to say when it comes to things like Mookie and this entire team trying to get out of this rut, which they seem like they are kinda, just stack days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stack days, just one at a time. Just start stacking days, good habits, good games. Stack them one by one. Don't worry about the end. But if you can do that, the next thing you know, you'll come out of it and you guys will be a lot better.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, there's definitely a lot of positives to take away from this, but the chat, they dictate this show, right? They're like my co-host on this show, and
They know about your vest. They want to know the
yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, like first of all, if you guys rewind, you'll know I started the show without the vest, and I did that intentionally. I got a comment on the last show saying bro is gonna get married in that vest. Reason I wear this vest is I have all this stuff in my pockets, and it doesn't fit in my pocket, so I gotta like shove it in this vest. But
it's a nice vest, Travis Matthew, man.
I gotta wash it though. You know what I mean? It's due for a cleaning. But I want to talk about Michael Conforto because that's what people are talking about. Michael down below. We got Delirium says, will MLB allow Michael Conforto to bring the Griffith Park Observatory telescope with him to the batter's box? We've got poor Conforto. Hope he has a big postseason series. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Conforto hate. He goes 0 for 4,
I saw the
2
comments.
strikeouts.
Conforto.
Oh yeah, Conforto.
That's
That's definitely like the classic here that they've called him on this show, and
it's accurate tonight.
And the thing is with Michael Conforto is that he doesn't bring you plus defense. He's not someone you would come off the bench as a late defensive substitution. He's not a late game defensive substitution or someone you would put in a base running situation. So for him to provide value to this team, he has to hit. And for July, he was hitting. He was right up there with Miguel Rojas for one of the most productive kind of Dodgers you're not expecting to be really good, and he was. I mean, he had 840 OPS. He was surviving the trade deadline, and unfortunately after it, he just has not produced at all. And I think you mentioned Alex Call. You've got some options that you could go to, and you just really hope that they can find some production, because the truth of the matter is overall, their outfield, Tommy Edmonds out, Hesung Kim is out. You have Max Muncy back in the fold, but for the most part, you're just not getting consistent production from that part of the outfield. And I think Michael Conforto, he really has to turn his season around and show them that, hey, he can help this team, because even though he survived that deadline, I mean, well, if he goes into a really dark slump, you just never know.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we know Michael Conforto is a platoon player. That's what he is. Fortunately, though, you're going to see a lot more righties pitching against the Dodgers than lefties, which means you're going to see a lot more of Conforto in the lineup right now. If he can hit like he hit in July, he doesn't become a liability. And there's a lot of fans out there and people even in the press box, I'll be honest, who've been talking about moving Mookie Betts back to right field. Obviously, we saw it worked in the playoffs last year, worked in the second half of the season, was a success. Well, if you did that, and I just want to stress, no way do we think that's going to happen, and Dave Roberts has said that's not going to happen. But if you did that, then you move Teo back to left, and then essentially Michael Conforto just becomes a left-handed bat off the bench late in games. And maybe that should be his role for the team. But right now, if you're not going to do that, who do you have? Kike's out, right? Kike's injured, trying to get his way back. Tommy Edmonds out. Aesung Kim is out. Ruiz just got sent back down. So you don't really have a lot of options there. That's why I said I want to see Alex Call get a little more run. Yes, his batting average against righties this year isn't great, but I think even he could hit the ball a lot harder and make better contact right now.
And look at the defensive plays made with Shohei on the mound, right?
And if you remember, yeah, correct. And if you remember what Brandon Gomes said in that presser after the trade deadline, he was talking about Alex Call and how difficult it is to get Alex Call out as far as a guy trying to game plan against him and find some of his weaknesses at the plate. He's actually the opposite of what most of this Dodgers lineup has been the last few weeks. He doesn't strike out, right? He puts the ball in play. He works counts. And right now, that would be better than what we've seen from Michael Conforto over the last few games. I would like to see him just get more run. And if he's struggling against righties, okay, then go back to your platoon. But right now, I want to see more Alex Call and just see if he can put up better at bats, more plate discipline than what we're seeing from
I want the shiny new toy, right? I want to see what he does. And like, I was pretty impressed with his at-bats and his ability to get a couple of hits, and you just kind of want to ride that wave. And also, too, if Alex Call gets an opportunity and performs, it puts some pressure on Michael Conforto, because clearly he handled that pressure of trying to have to hit for his job to stay on this team pretty well in July. I think you got to almost put that pressure on him now, and you could do that with Alex Call, even though there's no deadline. But the truth is, he's 2 for his last 22 in August. I mean, it's just, that is not going to get it done.
If not now, when?
Yeah.
You're going to wait till Kike's back? You're going to wait till you got more players, Tommy Edmonds back, and you need to put these players in there? Right now, you have this opportunity to give him some run. See what you got in him, right? Before it gets to late September and early October. See what you got now while you have some of your platoon guys, position guys, utility guys out, and let him get some run there, especially against righties. And I think we will see him. Like I said, we're not going to see a lefty until Tyler Anderson next week sometime. I think it's Tuesday maybe. So that leaves what, like 3 games right there? You know, how much do we see Michael Conforto?
It's got to be a strict platoon. Strict platoon.
I think one of those games they might give Alex Call a shot against a non-lefty, against a right-handed starting pitcher.
And we'll see when. Another thing too. Another factor there too is when Hesung Kim comes back and what they could do with him as far as plugging him in that spot to be a left-handed bat. But yeah, okay, so we're talking about this challenge, guys. I don't know if you guys know the 9-9-9 challenge. It's 9 hot dogs, 9 beers in 9 innings. Mm-hmm. Michael thinks I've done it. He thinks I love hot dogs. He thinks that's what I do. I mean, I do like an occasional dog, right? Probably the most I've had is 2, like per inning. No, but 2.
How many hot dogs have you eaten in the 2025 season, Dodgers season, if you could guess?
I'd probably say, like, honestly, realistically, without the bun. So what I do is I kind of like, you guys are making fun of me in the chat. In the press room after the 4th inning, they put out Dodger dogs, buns.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah,
behind the scenes industry scene.
See how the sausage is really made.
Yeah, literally.
But the difference is, and I don't know if they do this to the rest of the stadium, is they offer you cheese, like almost like nacho cheese and chili.
Yeah, no, they don't have that in some of the stadiums.
Yeah.
It's not like the normal onions and relish.
You don't see this around the stadium, around the park, around the ballpark. You only see this in the media room. So what I do is I'll take the 1 hot dog, it's long, I'll put it on the silvery thing, and then I'll put a bunch of cheese and a bunch of chili on it, and I'll eat with like a fork and a knife. You know, like that's.
You've done that lately, but earlier in the season you were going full bun, right? You were doing the whole thing with
they're
chili.
protein buns. They're protein.
Protein buns.
But
Okay,
again, to answer your question, I would say probably like honestly, probably like
No, I don't mean it in a bad way.
I probably had like 9.
9? No
Yes,
way.
dude, guys, can you believe this? I've had like 9, and they know I love me a glizzy,
We're
right?
like 50, 60 home games by now?
But I don't really. I usually buy the salad.
Okay.
But like honestly, I like here's the thing.
But we will say this: Maria just came in the middle of this live show to bring a tray. Maria works the press box dining area. Earlier in the night, she literally came up to you and handed you a hot dog, thinking
She did.
You
I
look
know.
like an
I felt
idiot.
yeah, felt a little attacked there, but I appreciate it though. Shout out to Maria, who definitely will get a credit on this show.
I just figured I've seen you eat a lot of hot dogs in the press box this year. Maybe not as many as I thought, but I just figured you
This is
might have tried
ridiculous.
this 999 challenge. You love doing these challenges when there's
But
new
what-
food items. You go down and eat them. You ate that giant hot dog and shared it
First of
with
all,
fans. I saw it.
we talked about this before this show. If you're gonna execute the 999 challenge, unless they allow you to defer the money like they do on a lot of their big contracts,
$300.
it's how do the math. It's like it's really gotta be like a $300 to $400.
It's like almost $100 just for the 9 hot dogs. The 9 beers alone. I mean, beers are expensive at Dodger Stadium, almost $20. Yeah, that's like a $300 concession.
But this is where it would mess with me, right? This is where it would mess with me. It was
But can I say something real quick about that? We say how expensive that is. I have data for you. The Los Angeles Dodgers fans, according to, I don't even know who this is according to. Okay, so I don't know who it's according to, but according to their estimates, these people, Los Angeles Dodger fans have done this over 5,000 times this season, ranking them 3rd amongst all MLB teams' fan bases in completing the 999 challenge. So this was long ago. They now have over 5,028 Dodgers fans who have completed the 999 challenge. You know who's first on that list? This shouldn't surprise you.
it's gotta be Milwaukee.
Phillies.
I would say
Milwaukee's up there.
I would say Milwaukee because they have really good dollar beer and dollar dog nights, so that's cost effective. But
Just
Phillies,
had one recently, and they were
Did they?
throwing them at each other, and then you should see the video.
at least it's not what's getting thrown at WNBA games. I'll leave it at that.
You know, Philly sports fans, it should not surprise you that they are the ones trying to complete this 999 challenge more than anyone. Followed secondly by Yankees fans. Also, if you know Yankees fans, that shouldn't surprise you. So, but the Dodgers are 3rd. Our fan base really crushing this 999 challenge. I myself,
Could you do it if it was like, I don't know, beyond, you don't eat hot dogs, but beyond hot dogs? Okay, here's my question.
we have veggie dogs here.
Is it 12-ounce beers?
That's the thing. Like,
Because tall boys be kind of tough. Here's the thing.
the beers at Dodger Stadium, I don't even know. Either you get the tall boys or you get these big, like 16-ounce plastic cups full of the beer. Ain't no way I could do that. I'm sorry. I'd be gone by like.
I can't just. I'm trying to get.
But if it was like, I don't know, 8-ounce cans of Natty Light, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
I would hope for a long game, so it's not a 2-hour game. I'd hope for like a 3-hour game, and I could.
This is what would be the biggest. So for me, I told you this too. Like for me, the biggest obstacle would be: are you having me do it in the middle of a hot day where I'm out exposed to the sun because I'm not good in the sun? If it's a night game,
I need a night game.
I would need a night game too. Also, too, it's the beers that you have to drink in the 8th and 9th inning that you have to purchase in the 7th inning. Might be a little on the flat side. Your boy Chuck McCain could probably do it, but I'm trying to get in really good shape for.
What was that nickname? Chuck McKain?
That's what they call him back on frat row back in the day. But honestly, I'm trying to get in great shape for the summer. So no 999. No. So let us know down below in the comment section. We're gonna open up to you guys. Could you handle the 999 challenge?
I bet you some fans have actually done it. So I want to know.
I like this. Yeah.
Fans that have completed
Need a beer snake. Dug off of 4 tall boys. Yeah. You guys. I'm singing Creed. Hold me now. Oh shit.
He might not be able to do it with beer, but he could do the 999 challenge in the press box. We could do it next game.
That's so funny, man.
You're free, man. You just talked about the price. You got unlimited hot dogs in the press box. Do it with like Diet Coke.
We'll do nine
9
shoeies.
Diet Cokes. I know you like Diet Coke.
Coke Zero.
Okay, I think they have Coke Zero.
They
on
do,
tap.
yeah.
Okay, so 9 Coke Zeros, 9 dogs, 9 innings in the press box. I think you can do it.
I don't know, man.
And I'll be there to record.
It would be fun. Let's see. We got D-Mac would swallow the hot dog. Come on, Enrique. This is a family show here. We got.
I'll even let you do it like Joey Chestnut.
Can we do a D-Mac with a 999 challenge with shoeys?
Zero and take it down.
Yeah, it is cool. But Has
anyone done it? Anyone in the comments?
Yeah.
Are you one of the 5,028 fans, which I'm sure has gone up, who've completed this 999 challenge? The most famous person, I believe, who's done it, JJ Watt, at a Brewers game, did it's on viral. Go Google on Twitter, Instagram. He did it in 5 innings. JJ Watt did the 999 challenge in 5 innings. He did 995.
Respect. Kind of reminds me like back in the good old college days, the power hour, where they would have those like 1 hour mixes and you would drink a sip of beer like every minute and you would think it wouldn't get you that messed up. And at the end, you're just like calling your ex crying and sobbing back, but
We used to do like 9 keg stands in like every 9 minutes back then.
See, that's the thing.
We used to do like Dodgers Giants drinking games, right? Where every time there was a hit, you'd take a sip, and then if there was a home run, you chug the whole thing, or you take a shot. I used to get messed up in those games.
That sounds like a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah.
But let us know down below. Have you guys done the 999 challenge? And we're gonna leave you with Dave Roberts. But final thoughts on this game. Hey, it's a positive win. It was, I think, a special night here. Just celebrating Kobe Bryant, Kershaw versus Scherzer, Mookie Betts having more success. It was just a good night at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, and you got Snellzilla on the mound Saturday night.
Huge.
Chance to take the series from the first place ELS leading Blue Jays, who I think have the best record in the American League. I know tied with the Tigers, they're up there. But Snellzilla, we want you to go dominate tomorrow, dominate this Blue Jays lineup, get the series done so that Sunday is an afterthought. Hopefully the Padres lose again to the Red Sox. We're all rooting for the Red Sox. I can't believe I'm saying that right now, but rooting for the Red Sox down in San Diego the next 2 days. And win the series is all you can ask for in this matchup of potential World Series contenders. We'll see.
Yeah, it's really interesting, right? I mean, you got the AL East versus the National League West. You got both these teams hoping the other team beats that team, and you can take advantage of it. And Blake Snell's going to be exciting because that's a massive wild card down the stretch. He's on the bump tomorrow. But thanks again for rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation postgame show. Go follow this guy, Michael Duarte, over on X and Instagram and TikTok. Also, he writes about your boys in blue for NBC LA. You can see his coverage on their website. You also can see him TV. You can see his stuff, Channel 4. So go follow my man.
And tell them how you want to see you do the 999 challenge in the press box with Coke Zero. I want to see if the fans want to see it happen.
Hey, we'll work something out. We'll work something out. Maybe if I'll like fast for 4 days or something so I can justify it for myself. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing about night games. To day games, I was thinking just don't eat the whole day.
But my issue is summer's right around the corner, and I'm trying to get in good shape for summertime. You know what I mean? Are we already in summer?
I don't want to say what I want to think.
Are we already in summer? Okay, well,
you could just go straight to the press box.
That's a good point.
We got some Ozempic on tab. We can give it to you starting the next day.
Yeah, just mainline it. I like that. But go follow Michael Duarte. You guys know where to find me at DMAC_LA. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit that like button for your Los Angeles Dodgers on the way out. But as we head out, we're here from Dave Roberts from the media room here at Dodger Stadium.
This matchup was exciting, intense, all of the things. Just kind of how would you describe what you saw with Max Scherzer as well as Clayton Kershaw?
It was good. It was great. I thought the energy tonight was fantastic. Obviously, we had Kobe's bobblehead night, so you can kind of feel the energy tonight. Getting the Bryant girls here, and getting to the game. I thought both pitchers came out focused. Max had really good stuff. I thought Max threw the baseball really well. The fastball played up, making pitches. Obviously, Mookie put a really good swing on the ball, hit a homer. But Clayton, I thought, that first inning clean, and then the second inning, I thought that double play from Mookie was huge. I thought that kind of flipped the game as far as the momentum. And then just tonight, I thought Clayton got strike one, is what he does. Defensively, Mookie looked really from him and maturity, but I do feel that's the best way to kind of go about the last 2 months of the season.
Does that have Clayton just kind of getting through these starts as productively as he has, especially as you get close to the end of the season? I mean, can you kind of feel him relishing just being back at a place where he's not only healthy, but pitching important games like this one as you guys get closer to October? I can.
He doesn't, he does a good job of kind of keeping the emotions to himself as far as kind of the reflection type things. But, when guys make big plays or, he's kind of taking it in more and then getting back into doing his job and getting hitters out. But, yeah, I think that, you look at, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, but certainly last year where he wasn't able to be a part of things. And so I think that, this is why he came back, to be a part of a pennant race.
When Andy, got doubled off, what did you see there? Was that just a mistake that just can't happen?
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it was a straight steal. I thought he had a good jump. Alex puts the ball in play, pop up, and you've got to know where the baseball's at. And so right there, he didn't peek in, and he didn't pick up the third base coach, and then obviously he got doubled up. So, Andy's grown a lot as a ball player, but those are things that we got to continue to tighten up and get better at.
How impressed have you been with Freeland's just his defense?
Yeah, I think with Alex, I'm really impressed with just his overall composure, the heartbeat, just not kind of the game hasn't sped up on him. I think, to take the good at bats, to take good swings, swing at strikes, take balls, and then the defense. We kicked him over to third base when Max was out, and then to kind of hold down third base, and then you move him to the other side of the diamond, and he hasn't missed a beat. And it's nice where a guy like Rojas or Kike, Freeland, just guys you can trust. They're just baseball players, and it doesn't matter where you put them on the diamond. You trust them.
Surprised to see Scherzer still run it up to 96.
I think that had a little bit of adrenaline. He sees the team in blue. I think that, there was a little bit more in the